The vast majority of these people are from the United States. I would say over 90% are from the United States, and they fit a certain profile. Passport bros, black passport bros.
Real rock from the rock, an unusual musical happening in a most unusual place.
Yeah.
The state prison.
Yeah.
Big Bass Life with another informative video, man. I'm telling you, black men, passport bros, or whatever you want to call them, blue book travelers, gentlemen of the skies, reinvested airport brothers, you know, whatever you want to call them, can't get a break. And I'm telling you, to travel this world and to leave out the matrix, a lot of the plantation bros, they don't like that. They don't like when you leave. You know, they got to do D-watching. D-watching is at all-time high. Everybody want to watch. Where you going to plug your hole in? Where you going to do this? Where you spending your money? It's like brothers cannot catch a break. They don't do this when it comes to our mayonnaise brothers here. They don't do that to them. They don't do it to the Asian cats. They don't do it to the Indian cats. Matter of fact, we're the only ones who get that flack.
And they fit a certain profile. Passport bros, black passport bros.
So when you go into these different airports, whether it be Dominican Republic, whether it be China, whether it be Colombia, well, it turns out that a lot of these content creators are putting it on the table, especially when it comes to traveling to Colombia.
A U.S. citizen was denied entry into Medellin, and this story gets a little bit crazy. This man was pulled out and started to be questioned. He ended up trying to evade migration. Then he decided that he was going to try and fight migration and got violent with them. They were able to subdue him. They continued their search. They found sex toys on him. They found that he had a history of domestic violence. No surprise here, right? And he was denied entry into the country. Guys, we are seeing the denials every single day now. I think El Tigre has made it very clear on what type of migration he is going to have, on who he is not going to allow in the country. So if you are looking to come to Colombia, Medellin for sexual tourism, it's time that you cancel that flight you might have booked and you go somewhere else.
Lately, or frequently, they had a couple of brothers who have been sent back home packing. A lot of them have been labeled. You know, ever since this Floyd situation out there in Brazil, you know, people have been trying to gear one label, a whole race of men to one person.
So, you know, this topic is starting to spice up again, and in no way, shape, or form am I picking on this gentleman here. He just happens to had been denied recently for during the Feria de las Flores, and yes, it's becoming a big thing here now that Colombia is starting to crack down on. And in this video, we're going to discuss, and I'm just going to give you my honest opinion. Now, I don't know, you know, I can't accuse this man if that's exactly what he was doing. But when you put the pieces together, it just doesn't look good for him.
And we don't even make up 5% of travel ratio of men that's going to these countries. So how the hell you put one person, you attach everybody to that? When I heard the story coming from this Colombian traveler or this international content creator talking about sex toys and this, black men, we don't, why would black men travel with sex toys? Why? Now, I'm not saying that it don't happen, it couldn't happen. I'm just saying, why would you lump everybody in like we're traveling with paraphernalia around the world? Which is crazy. And we're always on the defense. Well, it's time for us to get on offense. But before we get on offense, I want you to check this out.
Or matter of fact, get into your history of Medellin. Have you traveled there before?
Yeah, so this was like my 5th time in Medellin. So I've been to Colombia probably almost 10 times. I've been to Cartagena a few times. I've been to Bogota. And this would have been my 5th entry into Medellin. So yeah, I've been there a few times. I have a couple businesses in Medellin. So yeah, I know people there. I've been there a few times.
All right. Now tell me run down exactly what happened when you arrived.
Right. So I arrived just like, normally, like I have many times before in the immigration line. It's a very long line. So I was waiting, probably like 2 hours or so before I got up, to the officer when it was my turn. So just like before, when I entered Medellin, I know that, they need like four things. They need your passport, your inbound flight, your exiting flight, and your Airbnb, like where you stand while you're there. So, I was just following normal protocol, just showing the immigration officer, the one on that photo, the one to my left, he was the one who I initially interacted with, who I was showing all my information to.
Right. Now, when you showed him the information, he grabbed your phone, and tell me what happened from there.
Yeah, so first I gave him my passport, I gave him my inbound flight that was on the ticket, and then on my phone I had my Airbnb and my return flight. So I was just showing the immigration officer my Airbnb, and then he took my phone. It's not too alarming because they did it before. So I thought he was just looking at the Airbnb, and then he was scrolling. He just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So at first I didn't say anything because I thought he was just verifying where it was and how long I was staying there and all these things. But he kept scrolling so long, so I was like, "Que busca? What you looking for?" And he didn't. He just said, "Go sit down." He said, "Go sit down." Like he didn't give me no explanation. He didn't ask me could he search my phone because I know they have the right. They can search your phone, but they have to give you the option. Like, okay, either unlock your phone or you have to catch a return flight.
Right.
He never gave me that option. He just took my phone and he kept looking in it, and I was like, "Que buscas?" He never said anything. He just said, "Go sit down, go sit down." So I kept asking him, and then I looked and I saw that he was like all the way down at the bottom of my WhatsApp. I saw that he had been through, like, my photos were open. Like he was just looking through everything in my phone. And then I saw him like calling a number in my phone. I was like, "K Busas, K, what are you doing?" Like he wasn't telling me nothing, but the only thing he was saying to me was "go sit down." And he just kept saying it in a strong, more aggressive tone. And then he eventually got up to walk to the back office with my phone and without giving me any explanation of what's going on. So I'm very alarmed and uncomfortable with him walking to the back with my unlocked phone. It has my bank information, my cash app, like all my personal information in the phone,
Right.
and it's open. And he's not even telling me what he's looking for or why he's looking in it. So I approach him again and I'm like, "Que buscas? ¿Cuál es problema?" I speak a little Spanish, right?
Right.
So I'm asking him what's going on, and he's not saying nothing but "go sit down." That's literally the only words that he said was "go sit down." So then, okay, I reached to get my phone. So like, what I'm saying? Like he was kind of walking to the back, and then I kind of walked towards him, asking him the questions, and he wasn't telling me anything. So, I reached to get my phone out of his hand. So I got my phone from him, and then by the time I reached and got my phone from him, then it's like 3 or 4 other immigration officers. They came out, and they're trying to cuff me still without explanation. So the whole time I'm just saying like, ¿cuál es problema? ¿Qué busca? Like, ¿qué pasó? So while they're trying to arrest me or put handcuffs on me, I'm just trying to lock my phone. So I'm not resisting. I'm not fighting. I'm standing here with my arms behind my back, trying to lock my phone so they can't go through my phone. So by the time I eventually get my phone locked, because I'm like this, and it's like 3 guys holding my arms, and I got my hands in front of me. So I eventually get my phone locked, and then they cuff me, and then they take me to the back room.
Right.
And still, it's without explanation. I still don't know what's going on, right? I still don't know the reason for the whole initial looking through my phone, aside from checking my Airbnb. So I'm sitting in the back. They have the handcuffs on me. They're extremely tight. They put scars on my arm. So I'm sitting here in the back, and then when I get back there, it's already one other person. It's a Jamaican guy in there. He's already sitting back there. So I don't really know what's going on. It's just me and him in there, and then the immigration officers. So then they take all my carry-on bags. I have I have 2, 3 carry-on bags. I have my satchel, my bag, and a backpack. So I have 3 things on me already. And then I had 3 check bags that, they didn't bring those back there yet. But right now I have those 3 things on me, and then they take that off me, and then they start searching it. So they take everything out of those bags and put it on the table. And in those bags, I just had, they have some condoms, which, is not illegal to my knowledge. I had some gym supplements, and then I had some medicine. This is all the stuff I had in those bags. And they laid everything out, and I had some money, and they laid everything out on the table. they still not telling me nothing while they're doing this. I'm trying to, because nobody speaks English here. And, I just speak a little Spanish. So I'm trying to talk to them in Spanish, and they're not even acknowledging that I'm saying anything. They're just like, sit down, shut up. Like, they're very rude. They're very rude. And they're going through all my stuff, and, they don't see it. They say, ooh, condoms. I'm like, it's problema con condoms. Like, you should be happy that we're bringing condoms to have protected. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you want us to go raw or something? Like, so you know what I'm saying, right? So they find all these condoms, gym supplements. I'm still sitting here handcuffed, no explanation, and then nothing. I'm just sitting in the room. Then they leave out. Everybody leaves out, and then it's just me and the Jamaican guy in here, and I'm asking him the same, like, what's going on? Why are you here? He's saying the same thing. He don't even know why he's back here either. So he don't speak Spanish either. He speaks English and his other language, and he's trying to ask them what's going on. They're not giving him an explanation either. So right now it's just me and him in the room. I'm handcuffed. He's not. All of my belongings are on the table. And then eventually they come, probably like an hour or so later, they come back with my 3 check bags. So then they begin to open all those bags while I'm in the back room. So it's like probably 4 or 5, maybe 6. It's a lot of immigration officers in the room at that time. And then they're going through all 3 of my check bags. Again, I don't have anything illegal. I've been here many times. Like, I'm not going to bring anything illegal to the airport. Like, that's insane, right? So I'm like, que buscas? Then one guy, I've sent again, que buscas? And then one of the officers, he's like, drogas, the money, dinero. I'm like, what? No, yo no soy estúpido. Like, I'm just trying to say a little bit stuff in Spanish. So they go through all my bags. They don't find nothing. I just have clothes in there, more gym supplements, and some shoes. They don't find nothing. So they zip my bags back up, and they sit my bags in the back room with me. All my other stuff is still on the table, and I'm still sitting here handcuffed without explanation. And I don't know. That's it. So I'm sitting here, and then eventually they bring another black guy back there. Probably a couple hours later, they bring another black guy back there. So now out of the whole immigration line is 3 black guys who they stop only. And then they went through, they asked him to, they went through his stuff, his phone and everything like that. But I was the only one handcuffed. So now we're just sitting back here. The immigration officers are here, and they're going through this other guy's stuff. I'm still handcuffed. All my things are on the table. All my bags are back here. I'm sitting in the back room, still trying to ask everybody what's going on, because I don't know what's going on. It's been, hours at this point, and I'm still cuffed the whole time, and I don't know what's going on. And then eventually they come in, and then they tell me to stand up. They want to take a picture. So that's that picture. So that's that picture that they took. You see that picture that right. They took? Yeah. So they took, I don't know. So they didn't take a picture of the stuff, right? They said I had sex toys and all this stuff, which are sex toys illegal? Like, that's another, right? But I didn't even have sex toys. I just had condoms. So they took a picture of all my stuff. They took a picture of me with those 2 officers. They took probably like 3 or 4 other pictures with me with different officers for some reason, with me handcuffed. They blurred my face. I don't know. That's it. Nobody ever told me anything. And then hours later, a female immigration officer, she came in. She did not speak English, but she had the translator on her phone. She said, I got to catch the next flight out in the morning, right? At 10 the next morning. So I got there at like 9 or 10 that night. So I got to leave at 10 the next morning. So, okay, I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, I got to sit here all night. And then I asked them, okay, can we get some food, comida, agua? And they said no. Right. So they keep me in here all night, like nothing. No, I'm handcuffed all night. No water, no food, nothing. Don't even know why I'm in here. They're very rude. At some point, the same immigration officer, this one that's standing to my left, he came in there, and he was with a bigger guy. And then I'm like, what is going on? I still don't know what's going on this whole time. And then he was so mad, like he was saying something. I don't even know what he was saying. He was saying a lot of stuff in Spanish. Like, I don't know what he was saying, but he kicked me. Like, I was seated handcuffed, and he kicked me. And I didn't do nothing. I'm like, what is wrong? I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I'm like, and then they leave out, and then the black guy left out. So pretty much all night it was just me and the Jamaican in the back room all night. So they kept us in there overnight. And then they have like a makeshift bed kind of thing in there. It's like a raggedy couch in there. So, we tried to just make the best of what we could without food, without water, without explanation, being trapped in this room. I'm still handcuffed
Wow.
and nobody's telling us anything, but they left us in here all night. So I still didn't know what was going on. So then the next morning, they came in there, they said, okay, you're going. And mind you, they kept my phone all night. So they kept my phone all night. And they kept my passport all night. So I didn't know, what else, if I was going to get that back. I didn't know, if they had kept the phone or what. But they kept it all night. And then in the morning, when they came to get me, they escorted me to the airline, to the counter to catch the flight. And the Jamaican guy was still in there. So he still didn't know what was going on. But they took me to the flight. And then they finally gave me my phone and my passport. And they still didn't tell me nothing. They still didn't tell me nothing. So they put me on the flight to leave, and I still don't even know what the whole thing was about. But then they said I assaulted the officer. I mean, this is me later reading these articles because it's multiple articles. I see you had one, and I appreciate you reaching out, to actually get the real story instead of just going on what they wrote, which is what all the other blogs and websites are doing, right? Because I've seen this at multiple places. The other guy you was talking about.
Yeah. We'll get into that. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Let's go in order.
Okay.
The white devil is, working overtime. Go ahead.
So I seen this all over, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, wow. And then I see, because I'm even part of like a group of travel guys who travel, and they had posted it in the group, and they didn't even know it was me. And they was even just reading the stuff and like, oh, this guy had sex toys and all this stuff. Like they was like making fun of it. And I'm like, so even you guys are just reading this and going off what it says without even trying to get the facts. Like I was shocked. So in my travel group, it's like probably 50, 60 guys in there, and they was just, making fun of me pretty much. And I'm like, just, this is really what happened. They just wrote anything. So I see how people just take everything at face value and just run with that like it's facts. But assault an officer, like if I would have assaulted an officer, they would have just took me to jail, right? I'm sure if I would have really assaulted an officer, you think they would have just sent me back without anything and I could just come back and be free? Like I'm sure that if I would have assaulted an officer, I'm pretty sure they would have locked me up. So I took my phone out of his hand after repeatedly asking him what was he looking for in my phone.
Right.
I don't want him going through my bank account, my cash app, my credit cards, my investment accounts, all the things I have in my phone that's unlocked that you have access to without explanation, right? If he would have gave me the option, I would have just said no, and I would have just left then. If he would have said unlock your phone or return, I would have just returned to the US. There's no way I'm going to let this guy go through my phone, right? So grabbed my phone out of his hand, did not assault an officer. What did they say? A history of what?
Domestic
Abuse?
Violence. Yeah,
domestic violence. Right.
History of domestic violence. Yeah.
Right. So I have one thing on my police record in my life, right? So out of my whole life, I have one thing on my police record, which is a fight in a gym. I don't have a history of domestic violence. I don't, I'm 30 some years old. I don't have anything on my record except for one thing, and that's completed. That's it.
Right.
I don't use drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. Like I work out, I eat healthy. That's it. So they trying to paint this picture like I'm somebody completely different than I am, Right. And what was the other thing? So it was domestic violence, and what else it was? Oh, the sex toys. Yeah. So I had condoms, right? So they don't sell Magnum condoms in Medellin, right? They sell condoms. They don't sell Magnum condoms. So I took Magnum condoms. I had, probably 30 some condoms or something.
Yes, you're gifted. We know.
Pause. And then put the pause button on the
I said pause. This has been Big Bass Life with another informative video, man. What did say you, fam? What you think? You think that we got to do check-ins? You think we got to be like, we're traveling in this country because of love. We're trying to find love. We gotta explain what our resume, what our dick resume is, why we traveling, who we traveling for. Like we're slaves or something. For all you Negroes, you plantation bros who out there that think you can just speak your mind and say what you say, but you yourself travel. You yourself be out the country, and you yourself be in them brothels. Because why would other reason would you travel? Why are you traveling? A lot of us travel for peace of mind, for new location, for just rest and relaxation from the matrix and the BS that you got to deal with. That's what a lot of brothers travel for. And everything else is the cherry on top. It's like being an entertainer, being a b-ball player. Of course, you're here for the business. You're here for the money. But let y'all tell it, we're here for the white girls. We're here for the other races of women. Because when you get to the certain level, a certain top, that's all you're going to see up there. And the sisters that you do find up there, a few and very seldom in between. So when you travel to other countries, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see what's in that country. What I look like going to China, going to Asia, and finding African women in Asia and in China. Now, they do exist. Not going to say they don't. But it's an oxymoron. Black men seem like we got to check in all the time. But what say you, fam? I'm not checking in with nail swinging dick. I'm not. I'm going to do what I do. If I travel because I want to travel. And I ain't got to explain a damn thing. Black men shouldn't have to explain nothing. And as far as Colombia, I wouldn't go to Colombia based off the fact that if one brother get turned around or whether it's two, that's too many. And I'm going to keep my dollars, my traveling dollars in my pocket, and I'll find a place where I want it. Any two ways, this Big Bass Life with another informative video, man. What say you, fam? Hit that like button, man. It ain't hard. It's free. Subscribe. It's free. All right?